I think Jason's return makes the most sense if it comes through one urgent mission, saving Josslyn. That is the emotional doorway back into the story, and in my opinion, it also gives Jason something stronger than just another action sequence. It gives him purpose, guilt, loyalty, danger, and maybe in the middle of all that chaos, a completely unexpected romantic turn with Ava. I could be wrong, and this is just my interpretation, but I feel the writers have placed several pieces on the board that could push Jason out of WSB custody, send him straight into Sidwell's orbit, and force him to depend on the one woman most people would never expect him to trust. Jason, being held by the WSB, creates a very specific kind of tension. He is not simply hiding. He is not just away from Port Charles by choice. He is trapped inside a system that is bigger than him, colder than him, and more political than anything Sonny's world usually deals with. That matters because Jason Morgan is usually the man who escapes through force, instinct, and loyalty. But the WSB is not a warehouse guard or a local enemy. Jason probably cannot just punch his way out. So I think the only believable way for him to return quickly is if the WSB decides Jason is more useful outside than inside. That is where Cullum becomes important. In my opinion, Cullum's hunt for the person who shot him could accidentally open the door for Jason's freedom. Cullum may think he is tightening the net around everyone else, but sometimes a man like that creates his own exposure. If he keeps digging, pressuring, threatening, and dragging old secrets into the light, sooner or later, Rocco may be pulled into the danger. And once Rocco's connection to the shooting starts becoming visible, the WSB may also begin to understand that Jason was not the real threat they thought he was. I feel this is where the story could become more layered. Jason may not be cleared because someone suddenly wants to be fair. I do not think the WSB works that way. I think Jason may be cleared because the truth becomes useful to them. They may realize Cullum is not just a victim. He may be a corrupt, dangerous director who has created problems inside his own agency. And if Cullum's own people are investigating him, the WSB may not want to make a loud public move. They may not want their fingerprints on anything connected to Sidwell, Cullum, Josslyn, or Jason. That makes Jason the perfect tool. In my opinion, the deal could be simple but morally heavy. Jason gets released early, or at least gets enough freedom to operate if he helps rescue Josslyn. The WSB may frame it as a transaction. They may act like they are giving Jason a chance to earn his way out. But I think for Jason, the deal is almost irrelevant. Even if they did not ask him, he would want to save Josslyn anyway. That is the emotional heart of this whole situation. Jason has always had a strong protective instinct toward the people connected to Carly. Josslyn is not his daughter by blood, but in my opinion, Jason has always carried a father-like responsibility toward her. He knows what Carly's children mean to her. He knows the kind of pain Carly would feel if Josslyn disappeared into Sidwell's hands. And Jason, being Jason, would not sit still if he had even one chance to bring her home. I think that is why this mission could hit harder than a normal rescue plot. Jason is not just saving a hostage. He is saving someone who represents family, loyalty, and the kind of promise he has lived by for years. He has made mistakes. He has chosen dangerous paths. He has disappeared from people who needed him. But when the moment comes to protect Josslyn, I feel Jason would see it as a line he cannot allow Sidwell to cross. The problem is, Sidwell's world is not easy to break into. Jason can fight. Jason can plan. Jason can survive almost anything. But he still needs information, access, and someone inside the circle. That is where Ava becomes fascinating. In my opinion, Ava is the most logical person to become Jason's inside connection, not because she is innocent, but because she is complicated enough to survive in Sidwell's space. Ava knows how to lie without blinking. She knows how to play charm as a weapon. She knows what it means to stand close to dangerous men and let them believe they are in control. Some fans may not trust her, and I understand that completely. Ava has burned bridges. She has made selfish choices. She has hurt people. But I feel that is exactly why she could work as a spy. Sidwell may believe he understands Ava because he sees ambition, glamour, and self-preservation. But Ava is more than that. She is also a mother. She is a survivor. And when she feels cornered or underestimated, she becomes extremely dangerous. I think Sonny's misunderstanding about Ava's private conversation with Rick could be the spark. Ava may feel insulted, judged, and pushed into a corner again. If Sonny believes she betrayed him, that could wound her pride deeply. Ava Jerome does not like being misread, especially by someone like Sonny. In my opinion, she may decide that the best way to prove she never truly betrayed him is not by begging Sonny to believe her, but by doing something bold enough that the truth becomes impossible to ignore. That is where Jason and Ava secretly joining forces becomes exciting. I feel their partnership would begin with suspicion, not trust. Jason would not suddenly look at Ava and believe every word she says. Ava would not suddenly become soft and obedient around Jason. Their scenes would probably be sharp, tense, and full of hidden meaning. Jason would watch her every move. Ava would challenge his cold silence. And slowly, through the danger of trying to rescue Josslyn, they could begin to see something in each other that nobody else sees. In my opinion, Ava pretending to treat Sidwell like a boyfriend could be part of the plan. I do not think it has to mean her feelings for Sidwell are real. It could be performance. It could be bait. She may let Sidwell believe he has won her trust while she quietly feeds Jason the information he needs. That would make Ava's role more powerful because she would not just be standing in the background, she would be risking herself inside the lion's den. And this is where the romance possibility starts to make sense to me. I know Jason and Ava sound strange as a pairing at first. They come from different emotional worlds. Jason is controlled, quiet, and direct. Ava is expressive, layered, and often theatrical in the way she protects herself. But sometimes that contrast creates the spark. Jason has spent so much of his life with women who either needed saving, demanded loyalty, or pulled him into old emotional patterns. Ava would be different. She would not be easy. She would not worship him. She would challenge him. I feel Jason may respect Ava more after seeing her risk everything for Josslyn. Not because Ava suddenly becomes perfect, but because she chooses to do something dangerous for reasons that are not purely selfish. And Ava, in turn, may see Jason differently too. Not just as Sonny's loyal enforcer, not just as Carly's protector. She may see a man who carries pain quietly, a man who does not explain himself, a man who acts when everyone else talks. That kind of bond can grow in silence. It can grow in coded messages, close calls, stolen moments, and the shared knowledge that one wrong move could get Josslyn killed. I think the tension between Jason and Ava could become emotional before it becomes romantic. Maybe she sees him exhausted after a near-failed attempt. Maybe he sees her shaken after Sidwell gets too close to the truth. Maybe neither of them says much, but the look says enough. That, to me, would feel more believable than rushing them into romance. As for Britt, I feel Jason may not return to her in the way some fans expect. I could be wrong, but in my opinion, Britt has caused Jason too much emotional damage for that relationship to simply restart. Jason is loyal, but he is not empty. He can be hurt. He can reach a point where love is not enough to erase the pattern. If Britt keeps hurting him, pushing him away, or making him feel like he is always paying for choices he cannot change, then maybe Jason finally chooses peace over history. That does not mean Ava is safe. Nothing about Ava is safe. But maybe that is the point. Jason's life has never been safe. What he needs is someone who understands danger without pretending it is romance by itself. Ava understands consequence. She understands survival. And if she helps Jason bring Josslyn home, then I think she earns a different place in his eyes. In the end, I see this possible story as more than a rescue mission. I see it as a test of identity. Jason has to prove he is not the WSB's prisoner. Ava has to prove she is not Sidwell's pawn. Josslyn has to survive a nightmare she never should have been dragged into. And Sonny may have to face the possibility that he misjudged Ava at the exact moment she was taking the biggest risk. This is just my interpretation, but I feel Jason's return could be strongest if it does three things at once. Frees him from WSB control, saves Josslyn from Sidwell, and opens the door to a Jason and Ava alliance that slowly turns into something deeper. I think that would be messy, dramatic, controversial, and honestly, very watchable. And for a soap, that is exactly the kind of storm that keeps people talking.